What's up guys, Nathan here, and today I want to talk about the 5 bad poker hands that you absolutely must stop playing. There is a good chance that these are costing you money at the poker tables. Let's jump right into it. Alright guys, so having worked with my students for years in small and mid-stakes games in particular, I've broken it down to 5 hands in particular, 5 groupings of hands I should say, that I believe cause them the most trouble, that cost them all sorts of money at the poker tables and ultimately keep them from having the success that they want in this game. So I'm going to share this with you today with example hands and solutions, so let's jump right into it. Alright guys, so counting down from 5 to 1 is Ace-7 offsuit. Now guys, amateurs absolutely love to play a hand like Ace-7 offsuit, Ace-6 offsuit, Ace-8 offsuit, doesn't matter, any of these kind of hands like this. And these hands typically get them in all sorts of trouble for the simple reason, guys, is that you often end up playing a big pot versus a better ace. You know, the board run out is Ace-10, 4, 3, 9. You end up playing a big pot and the other person turns over Ace, Jack, Ace, Queen, a hand like that. Guys, there is a reason why we have strong starting hand selection. I actually have charts in my free poker cheat sheet, top link in the description below, and you'll notice that Ace-7 offsuit is a hand that is not on those charts for the simple reason that it puts you in mathematically disadvantageous positions like this, where you're simply setting yourself up for disaster later on to lose a big pot versus a better, superior ace. So guys, the solution here is to simply fold hands like this more often pre-flop, and when you do play them more cautiously. I should mention, by the way, in this video that I'm not saying to never play any of these hands. You definitely do need to play Ace-7 offsuit, for example, if it's folded to you on the button in a cash game. You should definitely be trying to steal the blinds in a situation like that. Same thing in the early stages of tournaments, and certainly later on in tournaments when you are on a short stack. You definitely need to be sometimes going all in with this hand pre-flop. So I just want to be clear on that. But for the most part, amateurs could do well to play a lot of the hands on this list less. Let's talk about hand number 4 that amateurs need to stop playing so much, and that is suited connectors. Now guys, this might be a bit of a controversial one because I love suited connectors. Who doesn't? We're talking about a hand like 9-8 of diamonds, and amateurs absolutely love to play a hand like this because it looks so pretty. It can make straights, it can make flushes, it can make 2 pairs, it can make all sorts of fun little hands. But the problem is, guys, many people are shocked to learn this, is that these hands are actually not long-term winners. It doesn't matter if you are a large winning long-term poker player yourself. These hands, like a couple of the others we're going to talk about in a second on this list, are never going to turn a big profit for you over the long run. In fact, they're going to be slight losing hands. You can check this in a program like Poker Tracker. I'll have links for that in the description below as well. I've used this program for over 10 years as a professional, and basically you can go in, you can check your database, you can filter for hands just like this, and you can see the cold hard reality for yourself, guys, that these hands are not going to be winning hands for you. However, as I've discussed in many of these videos before, this doesn't mean that we should just be folding hands like suited connectors all the time and only playing pocket aces and pocket kings, because then we would be too easy to read and we would never get any action with our big hands. However, what amateurs need to realize about a hand like 9-8 of diamonds, for example, is that these hands absolutely benefit massively, perhaps more than any other hand in poker, from the power of positions. This is something I've mentioned many times in these videos before, guys. Make sure you subscribe, by the way, so you never miss my new poker strategy videos here, is that you want to be acting last on the flop, turn, and river as often as possible, because information is power in poker, guys. When you get to see what the other person does first, it just makes everything so much easier. You can get more value bets in, you can get more bluffs in, you can fold your hand if you believe them and you think they really have a strong hand, and so on and so forth. Guys, once again, you can use a program like Poker Tracker as well, and you can filter for your winnings when you're in position versus out of position, and there is no question, if you played any amount of poker, your winnings are going to be substantially higher in position. So with a lot of speculative hands like this, you really want to play them mostly around the button and the cutoff, and you also want to play these hands against weaker players. I talk about this at length in my new Elite Poker Training University, that you can often really key in on on the weaker nits, tight and aggressive players, tight passive players that you'll often encounter in small and mid-stakes games. So guys, bottom line, you need to fold pseudo connectors like this more often pre-flop, and especially when you're out of position. Let's move on to bad poker hand. Number 3 is King Jack. Everybody's favorite hand that they think is good, and it's sort of good, but it's really not very good. In fact, guys, this hand is pretty much a trap. That's why hands like King Jack, Queen Jack, and a few others are commonly referred to as trap hands, because a lot of amateurs get themselves in all sorts of sticky situations. You know, the flop comes down with a King 7-3 rainbow, rainbow meaning 3 different suits. They end up playing a big pot, and lo and behold, the other person is representing exactly what you think they have: ace king or king queen. So guys, with a lot of these hands, the answer is similar. You need to play them more cautiously. I will say with a hand like King Jack, one thing that you can do right away to stop hemorrhaging so much with a hand like this, if you currently are having difficulties with King Jack, is to never call pre-flop 3-bets. That's when there is a raise and a re-raise. King Jack is just typically not strong enough to call versus a lot of 3-bets, especially in small stakes games, because people typically, they're not 3-betting you with a hand like King 10 or King 9. So they're 3-betting you instead with ace king and king queen, right? So when you call a re-raise pre-flop with King Jack, you're often just digging your own grave. You're sticking yourself in what we call a reverse implied odds situation, which, you know, is a common theme with every hand on this list, where if the flop comes and you hit top pair, you're gonna be in bad shape. So guys, do not call 3-bets pre-flop with this hand, and also play it cautiously if you hit top pair with the king or the jack. All right, let's move on to the runner-up for worst poker hand that you need to stop playing, and that is baby pocket pairs. Guys, a hand like pocket 3s, it looks really nice, but in reality, this hand is trouble for the vast majority of amateur poker players, because what you guys need to understand is that a hand like pocket 3s or pocket 4s or pocket 5s, these hands really only offer value if you hit your set. And what I mean by a set is when you hit your, you know, another 3, you got pocket 3s, you hit another 3 on the flop, you got what we call a set. It's an amazing hand in poker because it's incredibly well disguised. Unlike trips, most people are never going to put you on a 3. If the flop comes down with an ace 10 3, they're never going to think that that 3 helped you in any way. But the problem, guys, is you only hit a set in poker roughly 1 out of 8 times. So that means that the flop is not going to come ace 10 3 7 out of 8 times, and you're just going to be swimming upstream without a paddle, and it's literally a recipe for disaster. You also never want to be bluffing with these hands because you have such poor equity. When called, there's only 2 other 3s remaining in the deck. So guys, solution for this hand is to, once again, never call 3-bets pre-flop, guys. Please never do it with this hand, and also play cautiously post-flop. And really what I should have put there, if you don't hit your set, most of the time you just need to be folding this hand. All right, so let's move on to the number 1 bad poker hand that you need to stop playing so much. That is ace jack. Guys, this is the number 1 hand that I've seen, having coached hundreds of players in small and mid stakes games, that they overplay tremendously, and it costs them a small fortune in these games. Guys, a lot of people think that a hand like ace jack is a premium hand. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, it simply isn't. Premium hands, guys, are ace king, pocket aces, pocket kings, pocket queens, pocket jacks, pocket 10s. Some people would put ace queen on this list. You guys get the idea. Ace jack does horrible against this range. You literally got like 15-20% equity pre-flop, meaning odds to win the pot. You're literally, once again, digging your own grave if you call 3-bets, for example, pre-flop with a hand like this. And also if you get into big pots post-flop when the ace comes, because this hand is absolutely loaded with reverse implied odds. If the flop comes down with the ace 10 3 and you play a big pot, they're going to inevitably flip over ace king, ace queen, or ace 10, and you're gonna lose a big pot. So guys, do not call pre-flop 3-bets with this hand. Don't overplay it if you hit top pair, either with the ace or the jack. Often you just want to be check calling. And the final thing with this hand actually is that on the bright side, ace jack actually does make an excellent bluff catcher. That's often the best way to play this hand, guys. If you do flop top pair, just check it to them, especially if it's one of these aggressive player types. Don't do this against the passive player types. Do this against those loose, aggressive maniacs. Just check it to them and let them bluff with their suited connector, whatever nonsense they have, and that's the way you can actually gain a lot of value with a hand like ace-jack. So guys, I hope this video was helpful. Like I said, you do need to play a bunch of these hands from time to time, certainly late in tournaments, and also depending on the situation in cash games, but most amateurs could probably improve their results quite a bit if they just folded these hands a little bit more pre-flop and never called 3-bets with them. Guys, like and subscribe if you found this one helpful, and also grab a copy of my free poker cheat sheet. That'll be the top link in the description below. You can learn my entire strategy for all 169 hands in Texas Hold'em. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I will catch you next time.